In 7th century Medina, the rules of society were written by men, and the boundaries were rigid. For many women, the trajectory of their own lives was determined by others. That was the reality for Barirah. She was an enslaved woman, obligated by her circumstances to marry a fellow slave named Mughith. It was a union she never asked for. To survive the busy marketplace of her daily life, she went through the motions. She had a child, she fulfilled her duties. But beneath that outward compliance, she was completely trapped. Every major decision about her existence belonged to someone else. Then an opening appeared. The Prophet's wife, Aisha, offered to pay off Barirah's contract. The Prophet himself clarified the terms. The deal was struck, and Barirah was freed. She was no longer property. But physical freedom instantly triggered a new dilemma. Under Islamic law, her emancipation gave her a new right. She could stay in her marriage, or she could leave it. Walking freely in the streets means very little if you are still tied to a home you never chose. Barirah wanted out. Mughith was devastated. He loved her deeply. Historical accounts describe him following Barirah through the pathways of the city, tears openly running down his beard as he begged her to stay. There was no villain here. Mughith wasn't a monster. He was a heartbroken husband. But Barirah was a woman finally claiming her legal autonomy. It was a strict collision between unrequited love and personal agency. The situation was so visible that Prophet Muhammad intervened. Seeing Mughith's grief, he felt compassion for the man and approached Barirah. He asked her if she would take Mughith back. Coming from the political and spiritual leader of her world, this was immense pressure. It was the ultimate test of whether her new rights were real or merely theoretical. Barirah didn't immediately yield. Instead, she asked a single clarifying question. "Is that a command?" "No," he replied. "'Tis only a recommendation." With the line drawn, Barirah answered, "I don't need your recommendation," and she walked away. The highest authority in Islam let her go. He didn't invoke faith to force her compliance, and he didn't privilege a man's heartbreak over a woman's consent. Her dignity held the final word. This standard applied far beyond enslaved women claiming their rights. Freeborn women face their own battles against familial expectations. Take the case of Khansa bint Khidam. Khansa was a mature woman whose father arranged her marriage to his nephew. He made the match entirely on his own, assuming she would simply fall in line with his decision. She hated the match. Rather than staying quiet to protect her family's reputation, Khansa bypassed the cultural norms of silence and took her grievance straight to the Prophet. He listened to her case, sent for her father, and delivered the verdict. The marriage was completely invalid. He told Khansa she was free to marry whomever she wished. These were legal rulings that dismantled centuries of tradition. A woman in this system could not be traded, gifted, or forced into a partnership by anyone, not even her own parents. Yet, over 1,400 years later, the practice of silencing women persists. Across the globe, forced marriages are still carried out, often falsely justified as religious duty or cultural preservation. The scale is massive. In the UK alone, authorities handle approximately 8,000 reported cases of actual or threatened forced marriage every single year. When families strip away that choice, the fallout is severe. Victims are routinely pulled out of education, cut off from their friends, and subjected to profound isolation and domestic abuse. For those who resist, the consequences often escalate to physical violence. This is the reality of honor-based violence, crimes committed to protect a family's perceived reputation, using fear to enforce compliance. Coercing a woman into marriage is a severe human rights abuse, but it is also a direct violation of the very Islamic laws these cultures often claim to uphold. According to Surah Ar-Rum in the Quran, a valid marriage is built on one specific goal, sakina. It means a deep, enduring tranquility. That peace is sustained by two emotional pillars. First is mawada, an unselfish, unconditional affection. The second is rahma, which translates to deep compassion and mercy. If you have desire without mercy, you only have pressure. And if one partner is entirely silent, that quietness rarely means harmony. It usually means fear. At its core, a home is supposed to be a safe space for the mind and the spirit. By protecting voices like Barirah and Khansa, Islam established that true marriage can only exist when two free people actually choose each other.